My name is Judy. I am passionate about helping people understand why they feel the way they feel. As a holistic anxiety coach and creator of the Break Free Method, Judy's Break Free Method, I teach people how their thoughts, nervous systems, and learned patterns shape their emotional experience. My mission is to help people understand just that and overcome anxiety.
I am Holly. I work with sound, breath, and energy work to help the nervous system actually feel safe again. Because thinking your way out of anxiety gets you only so far. Anxiety isn't broken wiring. It is a bodyguard that never got the memo that the danger was gone.
And that brings us to the question, what is anxiety and what causes it?
Perfect question. So today, like the last episode, we will have a tool at the end, so make sure you stay all the way. But today we're going to talk about anxiety as a messenger and not as something that's a malfunction. You know, it's we don't want to get rid of anxiety because it's really not something to get rid of. It's understanding and responding to what's really going on beneath it.
And that's extremely important because how we see anxiety, whether we are seeing it as something that is happening to us or something that we are doing, it greatly determines whether we actually overcome it. I hope that makes sense. How we look at anxiety determines whether we eventually overcome it or not. Like, that's important. We have to switch our thought process, be able to see it as something that is within our control, something that we are doing, because if it's something I'm doing, then I can learn how to do something differently. Right? But if I believe that anxiety is something that is happening to me, there's a chemistry imbalance, something wrong with me, I will forever be at the mercy of the thing that's outside of me. Like, until that thing changes, I can't feel better, right? And you hear this often too, how often do we hear, I'm gonna feel better when the kids graduate or when the kids get out of the house or something.
But then you never do.
Yeah.
Because we're always, you make a good point, because we always blame something else. We always put the issue or reason why we're going to feel better on something else or something outside of us, when it's really on the inside and it's just covering it up. So this will come at another time, but it's the racing heart, the tight chest, the shallow breath. So energy is stored in your body, and it's stored everywhere, and everything has maybe a theme. So like, if
Frequency.
It's your tight chest, it's grief. If it's your throat, where are you not saying something? Where are you not showing it? I just kind of had this conversation with one of my clients, and something that had started in the throat, and I was like, well, what are you not saying? What are you not voicing? Even if you're an open person, there's something you're not voicing or something that you're not doing. So every part of your body has an emotion that is tied to it. Every organ in your body has an emotion that is tied to it. So it relates to that. And then you have past things, so generational things. So why can't I think of the word right now? I don't want to say, is it genetics? It's in your it's in mitochondria. Was it mitochondria? Now I can't think of the word. It's
Genes,
passed down through your genetics. And so, like, when your parents were a certain way and your grandparents, like, those things were passed down to you. And if you don't resolve those things, those can be other issues that are underlying that, your anxiety or whatever's happening. So, all right, so there was a study done, and I think it was the Cleveland Center. I have this in one of my other YouTube videos, or a short I did, and it was they did a study with, I think it was mice or rats, and I forget who it was or what it was, but whatever it was, there's a group, mice, We'll say they're mice. And they rang the bell and they shocked them. They rang the bell, they shocked them. And they did it up until they had babies. And then the next mice they rang the bell, shocked them, rang the bell, shocked them, till they had babies. And then those babies, they rang the bell and they went without being shocked.
Wow.
So it goes to show that generational issues are passed down. And it's showing, like, if you ever notice, like, how certain kids in a certain environment, I'll just say this, my sister and her husband took in their nephew, and he was raised by his grandmother, and now seeing him, and he's 14, she couldn't deal with him anymore. He is now 19, I think. He's out of high school, but it's like, he's just like his father. And I'm like, his father never raised him, but that's genetics. You know, it's still there. So it doesn't matter how you can raise someone, how strong those genetics are is how that person's going to be, their outcome. So it goes to show that even though if it's not ours, and it can be passed down to us, and those emotions and stuff can be within us as well, that can show up in anxiety.
Yeah. It's all energy, right? It's all energy. It's all vibration. And we've mentioned this in the last episode. When we're not allowing the energy to flow, it stays in the body because it doesn't go anywhere, right? Energy is neither created or destroyed. So when we are not addressing those situations, bringing to light, how someone affected us, how we feel about a situation, and perhaps it could be that we weren't giving the tools, or we simply didn't know, like maybe our parents didn't know, right? So we're just left with the emotions and the circumstance and not knowing. But once you get to a point, we understand, like, okay, well, this thing happened to me. It happened like years ago. Now it's no longer happening now, but it's still affecting me in the moment. What is the story I'm telling myself about this situation? And Holly, oh my goodness, I used to be so angry with the world.
Anger's a cover up.
Yeah, I was so upset because I'm like, oh my God, I would have been so much further along. I could have done this and I could have done that. Like, if, so and so didn't do this. I'm doing that
with my YouTube channel. I could have done this years ago and started it.
Right, but like, that story isn't helpful. Right. I can't go back and change how my mother processed things and how she responded to how I behaved. I can't change any of that. But what I do have control over is what I'm making it mean in this very moment. Am I telling myself that, oh, woe is me, my mother didn't love me, and, that's why I'm like this and trauma that, and I can't let go. I'm like holding on to it like, oh, this is the reason why I'm like that. Or am I realizing I can actually change the story? Like, that's within my ability to change. I get to choose how I see this. And if I notice that I'm not seeing it in a way that's supporting my well-being, then perhaps it would be in my best interest to learn to look at it differently, right? To change the story. Because, oh my goodness, it's we get so like hung up on the story. It feels so true. I can't tell you like how pissed off I would get when someone would say, oh yeah, you have to let go and let God. I'm like, really? How? It's not easy. Like, you don't understand.
It's not easy. And I mean, I have the same thing with especially my father. Oh my God. Just wring his neck and be like, dude, like, you guys didn't teach us financial stuff. I have no financial literacy. I'm like, you didn't teach us, like, really? You want us to go off on our own? And it's like, I could blame them all day for everything. But there's also another part to that. There's also knowing they raised us to the best ability that they could with the knowledge they had. So me understanding that part really kind of set in things, because it's like, all right, so all right, well, he didn't obviously have good financial stuff. So it's like, if he didn't know it, how is he supposed to teach me it? You know? And it's like, well, I'm 45. I can go out and learn it. I could learn it for the past 30 years, you know? It's like, you can go out and learn stuff. You can't blame everyone else for the rest of your life. So it's understanding that they did the best ability that they could with what they knew. You know, not everyone knows everything, and not everyone is raised the same way. So when you kind of look at it, that aspect, it's like, okay, well, he only did what he knew, you know? And so it kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. But it's still going within yourself and figuring things out too. So
yeah, and that goes into like belief, right? How you want to see the experience, how you choose to see it, what you want to believe about it, because that falls in line with the story too. Like, a lot of people talk about like belief as if it's something else, but it's simply the story we keep telling ourselves. You know, it's a thing that's on repeat over and over and over again. You know, like if we're telling ourselves that, oh, you know, so and so did not love me, and I didn't have enough of this, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. Like, we're stuck there. We're allowing that moment in time to keep us stuck, even though like we've moved through that years ago, right? It just doesn't, I lost my train of thought. But it doesn't work, right? That the story has to be in alignment.
Yep.
We have to do that inner work. And when we're just going in the action stuff, right? Maybe like when we get to a point where it's physical, like maybe we're experiencing a pain, maybe we're waking up at 1 or 2 a.m., whatever, and we're feeling tight chest and heaviness, that heavy doom and gloom, right? And if like, oh, what is the thing that's gonna help it? Maybe I'll do some yoga and get rid of it. Maybe some breathing is going to get rid of it, right? And these tools are wonderful. It's great to have the wisdom to know when to use them. You know, I wouldn't want to like do a yoga pose in the middle of a meeting or something.
But we're also trying not to get rid of it either.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we want to figure out what's underneath it. Why is it happening? And then when you start paying that attention to it and figuring out, okay, is it something, you know, generational? Is it something that maybe happened in my childhood? Is it something that maybe I'm worrying too much about the future? So different things have different issues. Like, I've kept getting like, on my left hand, like I had, you know, a scrape there. I had something here. I fractured my elbow once, and my friend's like, "What are you still holding on to in the past? Because your left side is your past." And I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Come on!" I'm like, seriously, I'm trying to let go of everything. But it's like, it's also, what are you like holding back? So yes, you can retrain your thoughts, you can think of things differently, you can plant different seeds, you can give yourself a different story, but are you feeling it? Are you feeling it? Or every time you go to cry, are you holding back? Yeah. Because those stored emotions, you're just storing them down and down and down, and then we wonder why we have pelvic floor issues, because everything's being impacted.
That's exactly why affirmations don't work for some people. Right? They're like robotically saying affirmations not resonating. Like we mentioned about earlier, we acknowledge that people are doing the best they can, right? So there's a saying that say, oh, we are all doing the best we can. We're all doing this the best we can. Or one day at a time, one moment at a time. But if you're really allowing the body to resonate with that statement and really do take it one moment at a time, then that's an effective way of using that tool. Right? But then if you're just saying, oh yeah, one moment at a time, I'm just suck, here we go, another day, you know?
But that's your mindset. That's what you're telling yourself.
Exactly.
And the body piece of it, I'm not saying you have to dig up that traumatic experience and relive it. I'm just saying, if you're crying over something, finish crying. Let it out.
Yeah.
Feel it through and just feel it kind of move through you and stop holding it back and tying it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it builds.
It does. It does. One way to, I forgot who mentioned it. It must have been like Abraham Hicks or something. But she says something to the effect of, once a thought is thought, it doesn't go away. And I think the same way, like the scientific way of saying it, the energy, right? Energy is neither created or destroyed. Everything is just there. But when we focus our thought, when we give it our conscious awareness and we focus on it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it creates like the snowball effect, right? So even a thought as simple as, oh, I don't know. It seems so simple and so factual. Like
20 I don't knows later.
Yeah, you're just reporting the news, right? Like a factual thing. But it's true, people tell me, right?
Right.
But the more you say, I don't know, what is that thought producing? More confusion, more anxiety, right? Like that simple thought. So when you do feel the physical symptom of that, like that's not just like the thing you're thinking now, because some people say, oh yeah, Judy, I've been positive, I've been doing the work, I don't know why I'm feeling this in my body.
I think I can.
Yeah, but like it's manifested thought. It's thoughts that you've thought of like years ago that's come to a point of, they're now solidified in the body. They're manifested in the body.
Physical.
Yeah. So you're feeling it as a physical symptom.
And that's the thing. It's like, do you really want to wait? And like going forward, because people are like, oh, I don't have an anxiety. I don't have this. I'm fine. And it's like, but are you? Like,
high functioning anxiety. There's a name for it. High functioning anxiety.
But it's like, are you truly okay? Are you this? And it's like, wouldn't you want to put things in place so they don't happen, so it doesn't get to that point? Because it's one thing, like, especially like if you have dependents and you have people dependent on you, because I've heard a lot of people that go like, oh, well, I have kids and I can't do this, and I have this and I have this, I have too much going on. And it's like, okay, but when do you want to know what's going on? When your body shuts you down? Like when mine shut me down, It's like you can get to that point, and then by the time you're broken and you're on that bed, or maybe even deathbed, and you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Like, when is too late? When do you draw the line?
When is enough?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I experienced the same. I mean, the reason why I took my health seriously is because of my daughter. I mean, I only had my daughter at the time. She's 16 and my son is 8, so there's like this huge age gap. But I got to a point where like I was struggling so much so with anxiety that it was hard for me to get up and shower. Like my then husband, it was so frustrating. I mean, now looking back, I don't blame him for anything. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was a pain in the butt to deal with. Like, it must have been a very frustrating thing, But I just did not have the tools and like the awareness and the experience. I had to go through this learning curve of learning all these things, right? But yeah, it's brutal when you're thinking, oh, like nothing's worked, like this thing is doing this to me. I'm like this because my family is that way. You mentioned earlier, like, yeah, you're past 40 now. At what point do you start taking responsibility? Right? Like it's within your control. Now that you are aware, you know that it is possible to feel better. It is possible to overcome anxiety, and overcome anxiety to me is just that, getting out ahead of it. I don't wait to feel anxious. Like I stay proactive. Like I stay grounded. Like I was having a conversation with Holly this morning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. We're starting this thing and I've never done this before. And I caught myself, I'm like, okay, this is not nerves. This is excitement. I am excited. We're going into the unknown. So I reframed it, right? And that's the work, like moment by moment, noticing, realizing that your brain is shifting into the story that's not serving you and reshifting it, like refocusing it.
Before it becomes such a big thought that it's hard to get out of.
Yeah.
Because once you've had those thoughts for so long and they've embedded themselves in you, it's these tools and these things that we do, we want people to catch it beforehand. So that way you can say, oh shit, why am I having that thought? Okay, I need to change this. I need to reroute. I need to do something else. And I lost my train of thought.
It's not, and this is not getting rid of anxiety. I just want to clarify that for people.
Right.
It's not getting rid of anxiety. It's refocusing.
Shifting, yeah.
You're shifting your thought process. Because if you look at anxiety as like a thing that is happening to you, it's outside of yourself, right? That's when you're in the thought process and mindset of getting rid of it, like a lost puppy or a dog that's annoying. You have to like shoo it away, right? But anxiety is part of you. It's a part of your person, part of your personality. It's an emotion, right? And what produces an emotion? It's a thought. Thoughts produce frequencies and it resonates in the body as energy, like energy in motion, emotion, right? That's all it is.
Right. And then what we talked about before too. So if we're in coherence and that stuff's rippling out, right? So if we're in coherence, we're in alignment, we're rippling that out. If you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're worrying about something, if you're depressed, you're rippling that out too. Mm-hmm. So what do you want to ripple out to the people around you? Yeah. Do you want to be your aligned, self-centered and ripple that out? Because then other people will be, well, I can't say other people will see that. Other people will see that and either get defensive because they don't want to feel that way.
Right.
But it's when you start doing that and over time they're like, wow, this person's doing really well and they're doing this and they're getting it and they're doing it, like then they'll start wanting a taste of it and start doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I had to learn to allow myself to feel better even when other people around me were not feeling so great. Mm-hmm. Because then we're like, oh, I shouldn't feel good because this thing is happening. So and so is having such a miserable experience. I feel guilty feeling good. People tell me. But it's understanding that you get to choose moment by moment, like how you want to feel. Do you want to keep feeling crappy, depressed, and anxious and getting the same results, or do you want to feel better? And again, understanding that that is within
your choice.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything is a choice. You get to choose how you want to feel, how you want to do things, what you want to do. Mm-hmm. It's not anyone else's choice outside of you. And if it is, maybe you should be rethinking that. Yeah. Is it something you really want to do, feel, or anything like that? Because everything, you have a choice for everything. And I know a lot of people will take that to great offense.
And that's a good thing. If this message is triggering you, that's a good thing. Because I was there. I said before, I got so frustrated when people would tell me little things like, let go and let God, and it's not their fault. Like, it's okay. Like, when are you going to forgive and forget? Like, right. No, I don't want to forgive. Like, I don't want to condone a behavior.
Right.
But then realizing, oh, forgiveness is for myself. Like, letting go of this is for myself. Mm-hmm. So if this message is triggering, that's all part of the process. And that's okay. Yep. Allow it to be there. That's another thing too with anxiety. A lot of people judge it. Mm-hmm. Again, getting rid of it. Like, I shouldn't feel this way, right?
Yep.
Everything is great. Everything's happening, whatever the circumstances are. If what you're saying to yourself is, I shouldn't be feeling this way, there's always gonna be a pushback.
Right. And I want to kind of go back to your triggering moment, because like, when you feel triggered about something, ask yourself what emotion you're feeling. Because a lot of times when we're triggered by something, we think it's someone else's problem. It's not. It's ours. When you get angry, when you get triggered, when you get upset, it's yours. Why are you getting that way? Who cares what the other person said? They're their thing, and that's their thing. So, because I kind of want to do a side note of, like, when people project themselves, like, they're projecting themselves onto you is usually the issue. And you get triggered by something that you feel inside. And that's what you want to get to. That's what you want to resolve, because then you won't get triggered anymore. Then you won't get the anxiety anymore. And then, so it will have that ripple effect. But one side note I want to talk about when we start projecting, and it's something you can kind of teach your kids, because bullying is a big, huge issue. And I know this is totally off topic, but it comes from people who are projecting. And so if we can teach our kids that that person is just projecting, that's probably how they're treated at home, there's nothing that we can do about it. But their feelings on how they get reflected by it, that's what I think we should be teaching kids, is that they're projecting, that's their issue, leave them to it. Don't feed into it. Turn around, walk away, get away from it, or be able to respond back with a bit. There's a great YouTube video on it, and it's this girl that they're like, all right, well, I'm going to bully you, you respond back. And she responds back to it and just totally defeats the so-called bully. And I'm like, why aren't we teaching this instead? So it has like same aspect to it.
Hurt people will hurt people, as the saying goes. I say the same thing to my son. Why is so-and-so being so mean? Oh, maybe he's in pain. He's in emotional pain, could be physical pain. Like, we never know, right? But hurt people does hurt people. They hurt other people. They simply don't have the tools, right? And that's why I feel like it's so important to keep having these conversations, because people simply don't know. At least something we will say, a question we will ask or something, it will spark a thought or, trigger more processes or something. I don't know, right? But yeah, that's important.
But yeah, and that's the point of doing all the inner work. It's getting to know our true selves and how we are inside, and really once you start to know yourself, your inner work, your inner voice. I do believe God is within us. I don't believe God is something outside of us. Great book, Conversations with God. You can read 4 books, and he has many more. But I believe God is within everything. And when we start talking with our own inner self and start knowing things, like, I knew I had that blood clot in my leg. I couldn't explain it, but I knew something was wrong. You get to know that aspect. And I was talking with one of my other clients, and I was looking, so I have 2 nurses in my office, and they're PCPs. And I want to change over my doctor to one of them. And my client's like, well, are you sure? Because they're only NPs. And I'm like, yeah, one does have a doctorate degree. And so I'm like, I want to go over. And they're like, yeah, but they can't always do the same things the doctors do. I go, but I know my body. I know what's going on. And he goes, yeah, and a lot of women don't know that. And that's a big issue. And so when we start getting and realizing what anxiety is and what it's covering up, we start to know ourselves better. And I'm not saying you can diagnose yourself, but you will know a lot more what's going on within your body, and better ways that you can know what's going on.
Yeah.
And trust yourself.
Absolutely. The way I've been helping my students learn this is, anxiety is a thought process, basically. If you're allowing yourself to look at it as simply a thought process, it's not a chemical imbalance, it's not something happening to you. It's simply a thought process that's focused in the worst case scenario. It's fear-based, what if this and what if that, right? And there's the more like loving, divine, universal, like Abraham said, I'll bring it up again. There's only in every room, there's only a light switch. There's no dark switch, right? We turn on the light, but we can't turn off darkness, right?
Right.
So bringing these thoughts into light, understanding that certain way of thinking produces anxiety, other ways of thinking produces calmness. You know, if you're thinking, oh, this is a wonderful experience, it's new, it's exciting, I'm gonna learn so much, this is amazing, oh, even if it doesn't feel great, oh, I'm alive. You know, there's always something to be grateful and appreciative for in the moment. But when we're allowing ourselves to panic and just, oh my gosh, like something's wrong with me. Why do I feel this way? I shouldn't feel this way. That creates more chaos. It produces more anxiety. It doesn't help you stay calm enough in the moment to actually find a solution and hear the answer. Right? Because when the fire is happening and we're focused on it there, like we can't see what's on the other side.
Right. Because your mind is shut off.
Yeah.
Your whole frontal cortex is shut off. So that's why we come up, and that's why we work so well together, because when you are in that moment, you thinking your way out of it's not going to happen. Like, plain and simple, it's not. Like, don't even try.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah.
You need breath work. You need something to just breathe.
Put the fire out. Yeah.
And then deal with the other stuff. Yep.
Absolutely. I've been saying often, like, you know, you can't think better until you feel better. Now, I don't know how true that is, if it's even true, but it feels true in this moment, you know, with all the everyone I've interacted with, my students and everything else, my own experience. Like, if I have a headache, I'm not thinking of beautiful flowers and daisies and being at the beach. I'm like, this headache, I want to get rid of it, you know. But addressing the body, you know, doing the breath work and sound baths and like allowing the body to recalibrate and get stable and calm, and then address the thoughts, you know, like, it may be simultaneously, like you feel something, right? Reminding yourself not to judge it. That's the thing, right?
And that's like the big thing with meditation, because like everyone, and I mean, this can definitely be for another episode, or episode all itself, because meditation is like, everyone always said, oh, I can't quiet my mind. Well, you know what? A name drop again. Dr. Joe Dispenza always says you have between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. There's no way you're going to clear this thing up here. Like, you're not going to. And what it is just losing judgment of your thoughts. Yeah. That's it. You can play little games with it. Like, okay, a thought comes in. Okay, I don't need it right now. But if you have too much, write it down, come back. You know? So there's different ways. But like I said, that's a whole another episode in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say this, right? Because we were talking about this. We're having this conversation. It's like, it seems so simple, right? It's one of those things that's easier said than done. So if you're over here, you know, listening to this, you're like, oh yeah, you don't get it. You don't understand. Like, it's not that simple. Like, we get it, right? Again, that's where the practice comes in. That's where the work comes in. And if you need help and support, that's why we do what we do, right? We want to help people.
Yep.
It's a matter of knowing that help is available. It is possible to feel better. You're not doomed for the rest of your life. You know, like, you don't have to, like, someone was telling me, and it was the saddest thing. She was saying, like, oh, I hate taking medication, but I know I'll probably have to take it for the rest of my life. I was like, oh, honey, you don't. That's not true. You know, it's not true. There are other options. There's a better way.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So what tool do you think we could give them today for today's episode?
Oh, we have a wonderful tool. Name it to tame it. So I would say, like, when you're feeling anxiety, when the anxiety hits, and you're feeling a sensation, maybe a warm temperature in the body, whatever, feel into it. Just feel it and name where it is. Like, where specifically is it? Is it in your chest or in your heart? Like, what is happening? Be very factual there. And acknowledge it. and be grateful for that. It may be weird to be grateful for a sensation that doesn't feel good, but the key behind doing that is to acknowledge that your body is simply communicating with you. It's a chemical reaction happening, but you get to decide what it means.
That is a great tool, because bringing awareness to anything like that definitely brings it to the forefront so we know what's going on. So I just kind of want to recap of what we went over today about how not to use anxiety, or how to use it as a messenger and not something that's malfunctioning, because it's not something that we want to get rid of. We want to understand it and we want to work through what's underneath it. And going further in the next episode, we will go over sound and deeper into frequency and all that wonderful stuff. And then depending when you listen to this, we do have our 6-week course coming up on July 12th. It starts Sunday at Tranquility Wellness Center. So there will be more on that in the description and on the feed and all of that fun stuff. But also follow us for more courses that we have coming up, retreats, all that fun stuff. So stay tuned and stay listening and be well.